Hello, good morning, afternoon, evening. This is going to be a flow for people that kind of have an idea of what they're doing in yoga. So if you're like a brand new beginner, it's probably not the best place for you to be. This is also for people who can move without looking up every 10 seconds to see what the teacher is doing. And if you have a tendency to do that in class, and I see people that have been practicing for years that continue to question themselves, I want you to take this practice. Remember, if you're at home or wherever you are, nobody's looking at you. And chances are in a yoga class, people aren't looking at you anyways. Because we're too concerned with not falling and with breathing and with doing all the things the teacher's telling us to do. But if you tend to be one of those people who has to constantly look up, I challenge you to trust yourself, to stop questioning yourself. Especially if you've been doing yoga for even a few months, you probably know exactly what to do with your body. You probably get in your own way. So if you do have a tendency to look up, maybe even, turn the screen a different way and just challenge yourself. So what if you end up putting the wrong foot in front? I mean, it's yoga. We're not scoring you. So you do the other side next time, or you switch, or maybe you're doing the total wrong pose. I've caught myself doing that. I just, learn to go with it. And, the teacher, for one thing, isn't going to take it personally, and you should never feel embarrassed, ever. Embarrassment is something you allow yourself to feel, and, take this from somebody who used to be the most shy and most self-conscious person that I've ever known. You can choose to be embarrassed. You can stop for a moment and be like, you know what, this is just what I'm doing, So let's try that today. Let's try not questioning ourselves. We're not going to put labels on ourselves. You can't be good at yoga or bad at yoga. You don't have a talent for yoga. Everybody's natural state is yoga. It's union. It's just that we have a tendency to be out of balance all the time, and this should bring us back to our natural state. So anywho, I'm going to start with the breath. I like to call it many things. We're going to call it the elevator breath. And I'm not going to get too far into it, but it's an active breath. So when in doubt, be a little bit more active than you think you're supposed to be with the breath. Okay, so when you inhale, pretend like there's a little elevator behind your nostrils, and you inhale, and it's like pushing a button. And then you start to gently push and release and relax the elevator down the body, down the spine, we'll say, all the way down to the tailbone. And then from the tailbone, you just pull gently in the muscles from the base of the spine, the pelvic floor, and lift up. And you're going to hit different pelvic diaphragm. You can hit the pelvic diaphragm, that's ding, floor number 1. And then here, this is ding, floor number 2. And then when you get behind the throat, that's ding, floor number 3. And then the ujjayi can flow out. So it's very active. You're going to see my body move with it, and just do the best you can. And again, if after the first few minutes, you can stop looking and trust yourself, try getting with that. So the inhale pushes down, releases, relaxes, pulls things in all directions. The exhale draws up and in. Up first. In will naturally happen if you think about it. Okay? All right, here we go. So let's start with one of my favorite things to do. So we're going to interlace the fingers. Inhale. Press really deep into the sit bones, not the sacrum, the sit bones. So for some people, the feet are going to have to move out, right? Find your spot. After you take your next inhale, as you exhale, squeeze up from the base of the spine, get long through the front low spine. Inhale here, exhale, lift up, maybe the toes touch the floor. Inhale, pause, get taller, put yourself onto the sit bones more, and as you exhale, pull up and in, that little elevator. Inhale. Maybe we do this a little faster. Inhale. Good. 2 more times. On your next one, pause here at Ardha Navasana, maybe straighten the legs. It's important that you can have some contact with the earth, with that low back. If not, keep the legs bent. And your next exhale, you can keep the legs bent as we did before, or you can drop it in, get some strength, and have the legs straight. tip yourself onto the sit bones. Look what happens. My legs drop, right? So that's okay. Cross the legs. Find a little bit of wavy space here, like a little seaweed in the bottom of the ocean. Continue to use the breath though, right? We haven't stopped doing that. That won't stop. So you'll use that breath in varying degrees of effortfulness. I think I just made that up. Throughout the practice, depending on what pose you're doing and how you're feeling and all that. Take the fingers back, elbows, and then as you inhale, fill up the belly, but roll back so you can open up the chest. And then as you exhale, take the knees up and see if you can balance here. Again, straight legs is just kind of like the whipped cream and cherry on top. Okay, keep breathing. Cross your legs the other way. Again, seaweed. Seaweed. All right, take the arms in front, like we're going to do from here. Now, if your knees are like way up high, hiked up, I recommend highly, in fact, I order you, just to give some release to the low back and the pelvis. You don't need the knees hiked up, so the thigh bones can finally point down. So we're going to inhale, press. You want to feel the breath fill you so much that the sit bones get a little bit more heaviness to it. And as you exhale, we're going to twist to the right with the hands in the center. Pause. And then as you exhale, push out. Inhale. And then exhale. Pull in. Just a couple more. So as you're twisting to the right here, the left sit bone might get a little bit loose and light. You want to press that down because you're twisting from the mid-spine, not the pelvis. Good. One more time to the center. And then as you exhale, take it down just for one moment, maybe even more than one moment. And then we'll inhale. And as you exhale, right sit bone heavy. As you twist, pretend like you're twisting from the right inner thigh all the way up your psoas and then to the left floating rib, that left bottom rib. That's what I always pretend. I feel a lot more stable. So continuing though to keep that sit bone heavy because you really want to twist from your chest. One more time. Inhale. And then guide yourself back to center with a little stability. Flip it over if you can. Really doesn't matter how you get to down dog because not everybody's knees and hips can cooperate with that. So as long as you find your way there. Before you get too settled into down dog, just set your foundation, right? Finger pads, fingers, palms. Roll your inner elbows forward without the hands moving. But really just find what works for you. You don't want to be hanging out in the wrists. We know that. Okay, and then pretend like you're drawing your fingers back into your palm, like you're shortening the fingers a little bit. Just do that enough so you feel the center of your palm rise. That's the arches of your hand. Don't do it so much that you're like pulling your hand off the floor. It's just subtle. All right, exhale, down dog. Inhale, bend your limbs. Yes, that means even your elbows. If you don't trust yourself, come to your knees. Elbows bend back. Gaze forward more with your eyes than your head. And then pause. Inhale. When you exhale from the deep low belly, just come up. And then inhale. Inhale. And then maybe exhale to the front of the mat. Bend your knees deep. And then as you exhale, fold from your center. So curl the low belly away from your hip creases and continue the elevator action. And then just continue here. See, I'm not ready to straighten my legs yet because I want to feel this width in my sit bones. Yes, I just tapped my own butt. So feel free to do that because you'll tell the difference. If you're not ready, you'll feel this hardness and tightness. If you're able to be relatively loose here, and when I say loose, I don't mean that you have no control and that you're not still using your breath. On your next inhale, reach forward. So you want the tail and the crown to be on the same line if you can. I'd like to have the chest higher myself. And then as you exhale, you're curling up and in from the front low spine. Wave it up, hips over heels, ribs over hips. Exhale it right back down. Plant your hands or fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, ground and sink, and then float it back or step. Inhale, lift the heels. Bend your limbs. Exhale, start to wave to plank. Inhale. Exhale, knees. Take the pelvis and ribs down. Inhale, press hands and feet in and towards one another. And then exhale, curl and rise up. That's a breath in. Exhale, press into your fingers. Okay, if you can't get flat like that, guess what? Knees. And then you can get your low back curve back in order once you get back here into nice down dog. So I want you to take the knees to the left, heels to the right, and press strongly. Try and get your right hip back a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, curl and rise back to center. Take a breath in. And then exhale to the other side. Pressing into the right arm really strongly because the left arm tends to take all the weight here. Try and pull the left hip back. Inhale. Exhale back. And then just bounce. Be buoyant. If you need to be still, be still. Don't question it. And then inhale, pause as low to the ground as you can, like a little cat. And then exhale, curl and rise. Right leg, inhale. As you exhale, bend and scoot forward. Runner's lunge, inhale. Try and create that same width, so yeah, you can check. And then exhale, bend, curl up, contain your energy, and then start to rise up. Exhale, take the yoga fire. So if you were a video game geek like myself, I always take this variation. I know many people call it Fists of Fire. I just think of Dalsim in Street Fighter 2, and I just go to Yoga Fire. And then this would be your Yoga Flame, right? So inhale. Two more times. On your next one, interlace your fingers, draw in. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, press back. See, I'm not keeping this position. I'm trying to get some length in the low spine. Left hand down, right fingers back. Bend and scoop, and then string your bow. Just for a moment. And if you're feeling like this, don't look like that, right? So break down the pose. And then from here, string the bow, maybe stop here. And then float the hand down, step it back, maybe three leg, shake it out. Put your foot down if you like, or come with me, exhale, wave forward, 1 foot plank. Take a breath in, exhale, curl and rise. Exhale, press back. And then inhale, bend your limbs. Exhale, draw your knee in just a little and then stretch it out. Inhale. Exhale, bend, scoop. Inhale, runner's lunge. Again, do the booty test. Exhale. Inhale. So from here, yoga fire. So remember that you're not just bending your leg. I feel like I'm activating it right from in here. That's important. Everything activates from here and radiates out. Good. So from here, take a breath. And last one. Interlace in and then stretch on the inhale. Create space down in the low belly, back of the pelvis, and then exhale, float it down. Take your fingers back. Inhale for a moment. Exhale, bend and scoop, break it down. String the bow. And maybe stay here, maybe do one more. Keep the right front hip point pointing down, so strong back leg. So you're in a twist. Don't look to see if you're doing it right. Don't look at me. Continue to press into your front heel strongly. Exhale, float the hand down, step it back. 3-leg, if you like. Otherwise, inhale, bend. Exhale, wave the spine. Maybe see if you can initiate cobra up dog in the same exhale. Exhale, press it back. Take all the extra breaths you need though. And let's get those feet together. So as we did before, we can inhale, get ready to pounce, find a little bounciness, and then exhale. Or you can take it to the next level and keep the tailbone lifted and try a few jumps, okay? Now you're gonna be somewhere between the floor and as high as I got, or maybe higher. So be comfortable where you are, and don't look at me. Don't think, oh, do I have to do it that high? No, you never have to. So let's do 3. The third one will make its way to the front. Inhale. And go. Exhale. Inhale, toes together. Exhale, squeeze from the inner thighs. Start to roll up. Utkatasana. Exhale, curl up and in. And come down. Maybe your legs are a little straighter. So do that test. Do you feel some freedom? Can you breathe into the front low belly? Take the feet a little wider than the hips. And then inhale. And then see if you can exhale. Start to come up. Hips over heels. And then inhale. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, plant the hands. Inhale, and then exhale through your vinyasa, or you can skip this if you like. Find your way back to down dog or child's pose. Maybe pause the video, or maybe instead of pausing, let yourself be in real time and just find a moment. So, not that I'm asking you to keep count, but how many times did you look up at the video? How many times did you trust yourself to just go along with the instructions? And it's not a contest, you know, oh, I didn't look at all, so I win. There's no winning. But the more that you can find a way to believe that, you know, you have the inner wisdom, you have the inner knowledge, and you got to be okay with making mistakes. And if you can't be okay with making mistakes in a yoga class, chances are you're a little bit too hard on yourself where it really matters. Because in yoga, it's a practice for life, but I invite you to make all the mistakes you can. I mean, if you can't do them on a yoga mat when you're just, you know, going through, you know, essentially body shapes, where can you do it, you know? And then if you tend to be one of those people that gets really aggravated when other people make mistakes, despite what you think were your very best instructions, your most detailed instructions, or, oh, they've done it a million times before. You know what? Just chill out. I'm going to have to say that probably 99.9% of the time people are not making mistakes just for the sake of making you angry. So if you think it's all about you, or you're getting hurt or upset or worried, then that's your issue. So you have to find out how to deal with that, you know, essentially without turning into, you know, a petty person, you know, because guess what? You make mistakes too. How would you want people to deal with you, right? So that's where we have to think about how our actions would affect other people. And if we cloned ourselves, how would our reactions affect us? Right? So look in the mirror and just see if you can let go of that desire to be perfect and to always be doing the right thing, and of your expectations of others, because you can't control others. It's not going to happen. All right, we're ready to continue. Just one more little flow here. Just getting those toes out. So exhale, wave yourself up to down dog. And as you inhale, bend and pounce. Exhale, rise the right leg to the sky, and then you can inhale, straighten out. As you exhale, bend and scoop. Good. From here, take the back toes out, almost 90 degrees, but not quite. And then take your hands right underneath your shoulders. They may not go as far as mine do. Mine go to the center of my mat almost. You might be more here. Your choice. Just a little bending back and forth. And then find your middle ground. Do a little booty back and heart forward. And then exhale, draw everything in. So energy from the legs coming up and in. And then get the back leg nice and straight. So from here, we're going to inhale. And then exhale. What I like to do is I like to inhale, open. Exhale, I bend. Inhale, straighten back leg. Take a break. Inhale. Exhale, bend. Breathe it. One more time. Inhale. Over the whole time, body position changes. And then go ahead and cartwheel the hands down. Taking it forward, plant your left hand. This is one of my favorite things to do. Spin all 10 toes to face the right. And then from here, maybe you string that bow. Or you can exhale and pull up and in from the hip creases away from the inner right thigh and then start to draw the leg in. Maybe you step back for a more traditional Vashisthasana. So just find something that you like, works for you. And looking down helps with the balance. And then if you can, go back to down dog. Maybe wave and lift your leg up, step forward to lunge. Otherwise, find your way back to your lunge. Inhale as you exhale from the center. Float it up. Take a breath in. You're going to have to open the heart, probably by bending your standing leg. So like a warrior three supported. If you can't get your upper spine to open up and your heart to open up, bend your bottom leg. See how that works. On your next exhale, curl from the low belly, draw your back knee into your chest, then step it down gently and hang. Take a little ragdoll here. Shake the head, and then your next inhale, plant the hands. Exhale, step or float back. Inhale, lift the heels, bend. Exhale, wave. Nice big inhale there. Exhale, back. And then inhale, bend. Exhale, rise left leg. Exhale, bend and curl from the front pelvis. Lift that up. Spin your back foot out as comfortable as you can be. Take a little do-si-do here. Find your middle ground. Booty back. Breathe into the back of your body though. And then exhale. Draw it all in like a little pyramid rising to the top. Good. So, inhale. Exhale. Take a breath in. And one more time. Cartwheel the hands. Plant your right hand, just as we did before. Make all your movements on the exhale. So pulling up and in for the turn. Inhaling to think about what you're going to do next. As you exhale, maybe you step back or you draw that left knee into the chest. Step it back if you need to, stack or stagger your feet. And then exhale, find what you can on the other side. Press into everything that's making contact with the earth. So the blades of your feet, fingers, and then find your way back to lunge. Inhale. Now before we step forward, we're going to turn the back toes out and the front toes in a little so we can come to a nice horse. A little back and forth. Inhale. Exhale. And then from here, we're going to go a little more yoga fire. So, you may or may not know that some of the yoga poses that we do today were inspired by a few things, one of them actually being Indian martial arts. So we're going to do 3 strong little breaths here from way down here all the way up. So keep your arms close. 1 more, and then inhale, and then as you exhale, take it low. So you always want to have this squeezing of the legs in as though your legs would slide together if you were on ice. Make sure on your inhale you can let things fill up, and then exhale, protect and shore up the front low spine. I like to go back and forth. And then as you exhale, curl up, turn, think forward, come down to your runner's lunge. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, curl from the right side pelvis and ribs and lift. Inhale here to get a nice flat back. You can always use your blocks, okay? And then exhale, lift up from the pelvis, rise that leg in, take the foot down, inhale, heart forward, exhale, press down, whee! Inhale, take your vinyasa. If your body says it's okay, don't question it just because I'm doing it. It doesn't mean anything. And if you're working on trusting yourself, you didn't even know that I just did it. So there. All right, so from here, check your down dog just for a moment. Make sure you're not like hanging out in your joints here. That can feel really nice for like a moment, but over time, it's really not good for those shoulders. So see if you can, I like to draw up from the inner thigh, so squeeze a beach ball with your inner shins, and then start to pull up from the front low spine, a little bit of work here. Take it forward, and then see if you can keep your shoulders where they are, and then let the lower body fill up with breath again. Okay, so your down dog may not look like a perfect V, but if you can have this freedom in the low spine and this nice stretch without locking your knees out, should feel good. All right, take the knees down, come down to child's pose, and then from there, I'm going to recommend a pigeon and lying on your back and doing a spinal twist. And after that, I would probably do a happy baby, maybe a bridge or wheel, and then Shavasana. So if this video is too short, you can go to one of my other videos, kind of skip the hoopla in the beginning. I usually tell you what time you can skip to avoid the pre-class talk, and then just continue with those. So you can make a full 90-minute or whatever class you want by going from video to video, or you can just stick with this. And then maybe because I'm not doing the cool down with you, this is a way for you to trust your body. What do you need? What if it's something you've never done in yoga before, but it's a stretch that feels good? It probably does exist in yoga, because I found pretty much everything does at some point. And you can make it your yoga. There's no set of, these are the only poses you can ever do in a yoga class, or else it's not yoga anymore, breathing mindfully is your yoga. Trying to balance things, really, is the major essence here. So can you trust your body to do some stretches? Do you have to go with the recommendations I gave you? Do you like what I told you to do? Just see what happens. Let it come forth naturally. And then try this class and other classes without the constant need to double check yourself. Am I doing what the teacher's doing? You got to learn how to trust yourself. It's how you learn how to listen. Once you learn how to listen to instructions on how to move your body right to left, leg and arm, inner elbows, outer hips, then other things start to come to light. You start to be able to tune into other things, what your body needs, what your mind needs, what the people around you need. It's a very nice little chain of events. So anyways, hope you had a good class. If you're on vacation, enjoy yourself. If you're at home, just sweating it out, then thanks for practicing with me today. Namaste.